Up with Jordan and Ron.
Hi, welcome to Hooking Up with Jordan and Ron. I'm Jordan.
I'm Ron, and we have a special guest with us today.
We sure do.
Brian Cowan.
I didn't know this was called Hooking Up.
It's Hooking Up.
What are you talking about here?
I know.
I know. Isn't it great? Well, we can talk about that,
We're talking
too.
about
It's all
exactly
right.
what you think and also not.
Yeah. It's whichever way we go.
That's right.
Yeah. And some of you may remember Brian from the days of radio, so you may recognize his voice. But he's had a very interesting career change over the last year. And we thought he would be an awesome guest to talk about some of the things we've been talking about.
Yeah, I think he's got some good perspectives on making friends in a modern world.
It is tough. Oh,
It
I'm
is.
used to broadcast radio. Are we allowed to curse on your podcast?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, sure.
It is fucking tough out there.
Yes,
It's awful.
yes.
Yeah. All of us are in the same boat, and that's why we started this podcast to talk about how do you make connections as an adult, especially when we all live in a college town.
Yeah, you're right. It's all like 19, 20, 21-year-old kids, and it's interesting going from a position of broadcasting, and I'll put air quotes around this prominence because I think what I liked about you, Ron, when you were on my show, and you and I just kind of get like it's a freaking. It's smoke and mirrors. You know what I mean?
No,
Yes,
anything
it
showbiz.
is.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there's some
It's
that take it
hard.
seriously, you know what I mean?
Of course,
and
of
like
course.
hinge their whole identity on it. And
Correct.
It's so strange, like leaving that world and going into a world of pretty much anonymity. You learn that you have a lot of fair weather friends that were there only for the ride and the perceived
Absolutely.
advantages.
What, they
that
don't
it
want
brought.
to fly stand up? Or not stand up, what's it called?
Stand
by
by?
with you?
No, I don't want to fly standby.
So you are now a flight attendant.
Yeah, I work in flight at Delta, and I love it. I was spending over $50,000 a year on travel.
Yeah.
And I thought, I've got like 15 years left to work. Let's try this. And
Okay.
I didn't know that I would like it because I've never been in a customer service job.
Oh.
And those that knew me best
Yeah.
warned me against this.
Yeah.
They said, this is
Yeah.
going to be a nightmare. I love it.
Yeah.
It's the most brainless, fun job I've ever had in my life. And
Oh,
I
that's
fly
fantastic.
airplanes all the time, travel all the time. It's fun.
Sure.
Yeah, you get to go. That's and you must be meeting like tons of people. So there's probably pluses and minuses. You're constantly traveling, but when you get there, you must be meeting people. How do you meet people when you have that type of a job?
So generally, like a crew, if it's a good crew, they'll go out. Sometimes I'll introduce you to an industry term. It's called slam clickers.
Slam clickers.
They slam the hotel room door, and you hear the door click locked when they're in there. So sometimes you get slam clickers that don't want to do anything, and other times you get a crew that's fun and wants to go out. It's all, it varies.
Yeah.
Sometimes the least likely places to meet friends are where you're going to have the most fun. And sometimes you're in a great destination and nobody wants to go out.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
that
that's
would be
interesting.
frustrating when you really just want to grab dinner, drink, something,
because you want to stay social because, you're in showbiz. There's a difference between, when I'm working in the aisle, it's like being on at showbiz.
Okay.
I mean, you don't want to, talking to anyone about their problems. They're paying for a good experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it's over, you go from very noisy, very busy, very public to, wow, I'm alone in a hotel.
So quiet.
Yeah, so quiet.
Yeah.
And it can be jarring at some point. So,
I would bet. Yeah. Well, and you're going from a job where you knew basically everybody. I mean.
And you were sought out.
Yeah, when you said prominence, I think that's very true. I mean, people knew who you were. Everyone knew. You knew everybody here and in Dexter and in Chelsea and in, the whole surrounding area. And now you're on a plane with, a limited number of people and a crew of, 3, 4, 5?
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes 12. Sometimes there's crews of 12. If we're
Oh,
in
that's
big
a
wide-body
huge,
plane.
oh my gosh, wow.
Wow, yeah. And that must have been a pretty big change for you.
It was, but what's really weird about it? This is, with the exception of the military show that I went back and did in November, this is the first I've been on a microphone since then.
Oh, well, welcome.
Thank you. I haven't missed it. It's
Okay.
really strange. Like, I haven't missed it.
Yeah.
The radio station made some actually pretty lucrative, amazing offers to keep me.
Oh, cool.
And I was just over it.
Yeah.
Have you ever just
Sure.
been over
Ready
it?
for it? Absolutely.
It just became
Absolutely.
a job, and it's nothing against the listeners and nothing against co-hosts or the company was great to me. It's just I was ready for a change. Travel's what did it, and actually I think what started the change was 3 years before. I had a 24-year relationship that ended suddenly and unexpectedly.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
All of a
let's
sudden I was
talk.
out there inflated.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Let's talk about that. So especially when you're in a long-term relationship like that, then
a long time.
What? I mean, did you
Right.
have shared friends? Did you have to make new
How
friends?
did that work?
What happened?
Yeah, so it was so weird. A lot of we had shared friends, so a lot of those friends were gone, And then, when you think of, let's say 3 years ago was 2021, when you subtract 24 and a half years from that, email was barely a thing. And now I'm in a world of apps.
Yes.
And online dating. It's the wild west. It's scary out there.
It is.
It sure is.
It
scary.
is.
It is. That was our last episode. It was an introduction to online apps
Yep.
and basically how much they suck.
It's just,
It's tough. It's a
awful out
numbers
there.
game
Yeah.
too, right? And it's just like, what's your vibe? Like, how do you want to meet someone, or how? It's just all the different flavors of what is out there. It's like, do you need to change what you're doing and what your approach is? You know?
And I think when you lose a relationship for that long, you do whatever makes the pain go away. And I'll say this, I can never say this on the country station. I went through a whoring phase.
Oh,
and,
sure.
The apps made
Sure.
it easy.
No, me too. After I got divorced, I've been
Right.
divorced 7 years now, and
Like you
been
do what makes the
dating
pain go
and-
away.
I mean, yeah, and my divorce was a little different. I didn't have a ton of pain. I mostly was just like, what do I want to do? I don't know.
Let's
it was,
whore.
yeah.
That's what,
Yeah. I mean, I really wish I'd made money off it, but
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
I know. Hindsight,
So, after that, things just got weird. I didn't like that anymore. It wasn't, it felt as gross as it was.
yeah.
And then I made this major career change and lost some friends in the process. And it was like starting over at 51 years old, which is tough.
Yeah, it's really tough. I mean, we've been talking, kind of the theme is once you're over 35 or so, the world changes for dating. It changes for meeting people. And so how did you go about then meeting some new people?
I put myself out there as much as I want to be out there. Like, I don't volunteer everything. I don't, in the past, I would just like throw everything out to friends, to acquaintances and stuff. Now there's a private me, and that's okay. And I think part of growing up and maturing is learning that. And when I broke up at 48, it was like going back to 21 again.
Right.
And I was operating with the mind of a 21-year-old
Yeah.
in the dating world. Now I think I'm very much operating with the mind of probably a 28-year-old. But it's, leave it out there and look for quality connections.
Yes.
I think one of the most valuable lessons I've learned is it's better to be alone than with the wrong people.
Absolutely.
Even in friendships.
Yep.
100%.
And
Yep.
I don't even know who I heard this from, but I love this phrase, prove your presence is better than my solitude.
Oh, sure. I mean, identifying who is talking about the same things. Are people interested in current events? Are people interested in intellectual topics, political topics? If you get the trigger that someone is not talking about the same things you're talking about, what's the point?
Right.
Yeah.
Especially
with a date.
Right.
Absolutely. So I met someone new, 20 years younger. Like I said, I'm
Whoa.
operating with but I met
Good for you.
But like, it's funny because I've met a millennial.
'Kay.
And I text like a 12-year-old schoolgirl. Like, I am Mr. Texter. My significant other looks at the phone like once every 2 hours. So it's really weird to get used to these different communication styles. And it drives
Will he
me
send
crazy.
a long text versus I do like the one-liners?
It
like,
it varies. It varies. Sometimes it's paragraphs. Sometimes
Okay.
it's one-liners,
Yeah.
and it's really. It's learning someone, and rather than at the beginning it was very frustrating, and I would get mad, and it's like, okay, this is over, I'm not doing this anymore, and it's like, no, you know what, you need to meet in the middle.
Sure.
And I've actually handled this one very maturely. It's
Good.
Like, you know what, hey, this isn't just saying, there hasn't been like one knockdown, drag out, screaming argument. We sit down and talk. It's like, hey, this is bothering me. When
Yep.
you don't text,
Very
it was
effective.
like 4 hours. When you don't text for 4 hours, it makes me spin. Like
Okay.
I completely spin out. And it was well received, and there seemed to be efforts. So now we meet in the middle
Right.
of an hour and a half, which, which still makes me spin.
Instead of weeks,
That's
right?
still a
Right.
nice
Absolutely.
frequency. Wow. Yeah.
Do you think that going through a breakup like you did actually helped you see a different way of communicating now in a new relationship? Or is it pretty much the same thing?
No, it's definitely different and definitely new, and I think definitely better. Because when you go through something like that, you end up learning a lot about yourself. And I know
Right.
that sounds cliche, but you do. You
You
have
do.
to, or you're going to go crazy. And you do go crazy for a while. But in through the craziness, I found out who I was and what makes me tick. And where in the past in the relationship, it would be a knockdown, drag out, screaming argument. Now it's like, let's just talk. If this isn't going to work out, let's just be adults about this.
Right.
You haven't done anything horrible to me. I haven't done anything horrible to you. Let's just see if we can agree.
Of
And so far,
course.
this is 3 months in. We've known each other 9 months, but 3 months into a relationship, and so far there has not been one screaming argument. It's been
Fantastic.
That's so
very
great.
good communication.
Very effective.
Hey,
Yeah.
almost like a business meeting. I know that sounds terrible, but hey, this isn't working. This needs to improve, or we're going to need to
I
change
feel
what
this way,
is. Yeah.
and this, yeah.
Yeah, but isn't that what it is these days? I mean, I know myself, having moved back and forth to Florida several times, trying to find a place where I want to permanently live. I'm back permanently in Ann Arbor, but, for a
Yay.
while I was looking at,
Can
well,
we hang out now?
yeah, we can hang out now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime I want to hang out at free time, I'm in Orlando.
Yeah, we can hang out. Yeah. I got lots of free time now. We're actually recording in my office where I work like 6 hours a week.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so I got
less than a flight attendant.
right. It really is. So I have lots of time to hang out. But I think that it sort of is more of a business type relationship as time goes by. You get to know who the people are that support you, who are your closer friends, who are not, who are transitional, who kind of move through. And then I've actually honestly spent more time losing people over the last few years than gaining new people.
But
I
you know what?
think.
I think that can be healthy, though, too. It really can.
So I think too. I mean, I sort of feel like the people that are in my life are the people that have always been closest to me, and I have time for them now.
That's
and
good.
That's who I,
Yep.
spend my time with. It'd be nice to have someone. I don't have a relationship right now. It'd be nice to have something like that down the road again. But if I don't, that's okay too. Because I feel like I'm making pretty strong connections with not just with a few new people, but the people that have always been there for me here in Ann Arbor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's so important, just making the connections. And my social life, my friend life, nothing is where I'd really like it to be right now. But I'm working on it.
That's right.
You
Always working on it.
You can roll over, give up. You can accept what you don't want, or you can keep working on it. And again, I'd rather be alone than get what I don't want.
I know. I agree.
Me
And
too.
focusing on other elements of oneself, like I've prioritized therapy. I've prioritized working out. What are the things that I need to do to be my best self? And then I know that will lead to meeting others in a similar vein, right? And similar mindset. Or that's my hope. And it's worked out so far. There's always going to be random stuff that happens that's like ineffective. Like I was stood up a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
and it's so silly. It's just really silly. Like I drove to Brighton, guys. Like I drove to Brighton and the guy hadn't communicated the day before, but we'd made plans prior.
Right.
So I was like, well, we're still on, whatever.
Yeah, once it's in the calendar, it's on.
I mean, and he's 10 years younger, nothing, no response at all. I called from the restaurant, all this, and I was like, all right.
I guess that's that.
Block, delete, report, which you actually can't report that.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, there's no way to report it because you didn't actually meet. Like nothing happened on the app. Nothing happened in real life.
It was an app.
Oh yeah, it was a Hinge. Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Is that one any good?
I don't know about for the gay community. There's not very many. The quantity is lower. So Tinder's going to be your maximum quantity versus, well, even OkCupid. And when we're talking not trash, I feel like Match is trash. It's just, there's nothing to it. But
I mean, hopefully I never need it. But you know.
Yeah,
Well, you never know,
Tinder's
right?
a good blend.
Is it okay? I
Yeah,
never knew which
yeah,
was
of
a good app and which
serious
was a
and
bad
then
app.
stuff you don't necessarily want. Maybe you do, maybe whatever. But
Yeah, Tinder seems to be more sort of like flipping through Facebook, and you see sometimes you recognize people and something like, oh, this is interesting, and sometimes they're like in Texas, and you're like, how did they get into my feed here,
Yeah.
But so first of all, I'm sorry you got stood up. That's sad.
awful.
yeah, thanks. I mean, it's only happened a few times in life, and I've actually stood someone up once, and it was very silly. I shouldn't have done it, but nonetheless, I did
Like
it.
no text,
Yeah.
no call, nothing.
And
You just left.
No,
Just didn't go?
we were going to go to coffee. It was planned. First of all, don't plan a date right before, like the next day.
Oh, like 2 dates in a row?
Don't plan a date day of. If you're serious, if you're just going to hook up, whatever, do you. But if you actually are serious about the person, plan something and have it be in the future. And and so it just, we had been texting the night before and I was like, oh yeah, let's meet in the morning for coffee. And I just wasn't into it or ready. And I should have said that. And so I just didn't show up. But
Well, if you left him at Starbucks, that's fine. You can grab a coffee and go.
I guess.
You can walk in and take a peek and say, that's not the peek I want. And then you
Being
leave.
left at a restaurant in Brighton's far less intense than
Thank you.
far
Thank
more
you.
intense than being
Thank
left at
you.
Starbucks.
Yeah. For those of you listening who don't know where Brighton is, it's about 15 minutes north of Ann Arbor. So it's not like
Yeah, it's not like Troy.
another world.
Yeah, I know.
Still,
Well,
it
and then
feels
radius,
like,
right, of where you're looking. And
It feels like Dexter to me. I mean, going out to Dexter
I
to
know.
me is like
That's true.
100 miles away, and it's
Listen,
only
Yeah.
literally 10 minutes away.
I live in Dexter, and if I had a date at the A&W and I stood up, I'd feel like I drove to,
Yeah, true.
Oh, I love the A&W. Downtown
great?
Dexter is like
so
some
cute.
bullshit right now, though. Oh, with the traffic.
the
Sorry,
traffic's always
the
bullshit there,
construction.
Yeah.
That's weird doing morning radio for so long.
Yeah.
It's like I missed all that. Now if I have to go to the airport
gosh.
for a 9 a.m. flight, 9
Yeah.
a.m. check-in, it's like, oh my God, this is freaking awful.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. I've been on 3 trips the last 3 weekends, and it's like trying to get around. It takes longer to get out of Ann Arbor than it does where you're going.
Sure.
at this
For
point,
sure,
You know, so we've got to talk about this because there's. I think there's this vision of flight attendants have a different relationship in every town. Is that true?
Oh,
With some of them, absolutely.
Oh, my goodness.
There are some that are just hook up kings and queens, and for the most part, no. And I don't know if that's changed over the years.
Probably.
And I had one flight attendant. She was a senior mom. I just did Honolulu this last weekend, and that trip's very senior. And she says it used to be crazy, but you know the difference now? Nobody had a phone. So when you went on a 3-day trip, you went to the payphone once and called who you loved, and that was it. And then you were on your own for 3 days.
Interesting.
Now everybody's
That
got
is
a phone,
very
and you could
different.
text and talk in real time, and it just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
But I think yes, I have seen, I have not experienced, but I've seen that element of it. Yeah. And then like I have a buddy who's really good looking in that world. Like every single female, every single male throws themselves at him. He's
Interesting.
And he's got a very old soul, and it's like, nope, not even remotely interested.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
But because that's of course the vision everybody has of people.
Oh yeah,
that work in the flight
I avoid
industry,
pilots on the apps.
Now I've heard stories.
Yeah.
Of pilots. So
They also don't make much money. I don't know if you know. Like
no, pilots make huge money.
not
now.
right away.
Oh, not right
So
away.
the ones in my age group would not be. Yeah.
On the apps, they're the ones that are exactly 22 miles away, staying around DTW.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, careful of those.
That's actually a problem. Is getting everybody on your apps that are just go in and out of Romulus.
Oh, at the airport.
Oh
you
my
pick them up?
gosh, what a waste! I know.
Well, there's a story for another day.
That's right.
I have to say, all apps are deleted right now, though. Like I have nothing on my phone.
Good for you. That's because you're in a
Wow.
relationship.
Oh, you have. That's right.
now.
You have something to focus on.
Yeah.
How cool. How
So
cool.
It's weird that I'm focusing.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, congratulations.
Well, we're too early to congratulate.
No,
Okay.
still 3 months is 3 months.
It sounds like you're working on it. It sounds like you're focused on the right things. You're having productive conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which that's talking about maintaining friendships that you've had for a lifetime. Tell us a little bit about that. Are there people you met from radio that you are still close
Yes,
with, or
actually,
even
close. Yeah, I guess my old co-host and I were kind of close. I mean, it's different. We don't see each other every day. Now.
Right.
We see each other probably once a month on average. But I hang out with Madison every once in a while.
Cool.
My dearest, oldest friend I've known since I was 15.
Oh wow.
And he's in Southern California, and he's actually a world-renowned psychiatrist. And we have, for the better part of, 17 years now? 28 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord, I'm old.
We're all old. That's why we're doing this podcast.
With the exception of his, 38 years.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Yeah, 38 years. What the hell is wrong?
I don't know. It's okay. You're 28. You're 28. Just,
Whatever.
yeah.
I'm trying to think of what my dating profile said on those apps when I had them. Yeah.
Right, we've all been 29 many, many years. Yes.
But for the better part of 30 whatever years, we've talked on the phone every day. With the
Oh
exception
my
of like his
gosh.
honeymoon and like if he was in the hospital a couple times and
Sure.
when I would have something going on traveling, before.
Oh, that's
but
so
we-
nice.
I have a dear friend. Now I see him 3-4 times a year. But,
Okay.
It's
But
nice
that's
to
still
have that.
quite
yeah.
frequent
He's
to
the
see
friend,
someone
he
that
is
often.
The no bullshit friend.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah.
How
That's fantastic.
wonderful.
Yeah, I still have some people from high school that I chat with,
Sure.
but not to that degree,
Yeah.
Mine
Mine are from post-divorce, like my tightest group of friends, post-divorce or college. But not as many from high school. There's a couple people around. I mean, they're good friends. They're great to hang out with. But, people haven't necessarily been with you through the moments that are notable, right?
Yeah,
To keep,
and I think,
to keep
I think a lot of my social contacts too knew me through the filter of radio, and yes, I'm friends with some of them, but most of them we're not friends. We know each other, but you know a character, you don't know me.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, Brian, thank you so much for being here today.
This has been
was
incredible.
really
Thank
great.
you for having me. This
Yeah.
is fun.
Yeah, we thought you'd
Yeah.
have fun.
Well, maybe you could come back. I don't know.
You name it.
I
I'll
don't
be here.
know.
Yeah,
Can we
absolutely.
record on a plane? It'd probably be really loud.
Be really loud. and I'm sorry for trying to book time with the Vice President of the United States getting my schedule here, but here we are.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
It was
that's
Kamala.
true.
Yeah, Kamala. Yeah, more princess than that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but it's been absolutely wonderful to have you here. This will be airing very shortly. shortly. We have loved having you here. We'd love
Sure.
to have you back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we'll hang out for sure.
Perfect. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Thanks, Ryan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.